a welcoming and safe reception for migrants in Rwanda. Many people will be thinking, hang on, there's something oxymoronic about this. I thought the whole point was that they're not supposed to feel welcome. In fact, they're not supposed to venture over in boats because so much do they dread the thought of being flown off to Rwanda. So the welcome in Rwanda?
Well, the Rwandan government is quite sensitive about its image. Remember the Rwandan genocide? It has tried very hard to move away from that image that was cast out into the international world. And so today we've seen very diplomatic language, almost effusive praise towards Rwanda's leadership from James Cleverly, because the government really does want this to be the cure-all. But there's still a lot of questions about how it all works, how much money it costs. Home Office officials are being very tight-lipped about that. When the first planes will take off, how many people will it cover? Now, Home Office officials have told us that it is untapped, so potentially it could be as many people over this 5-year trial as possible. But there are still deep questions, and one of the questions that we put to the Home Office during this off-camera briefing that we had was what would happen if an asylum seeker who is sent to Rwanda commits a crime there? Will they be kept in Rwanda? Will they be sent back to the UK? And the long and short of it is if they are given a sentence of 5 years or more, they could be sent back to this country.
Michael Crick, I don't know what that expression is upon your face. It's definitely something incredibly significant. How are you responding to this idea of the Supreme Court saying no, not safe, James Cleverly flying out there and they say yes, it is safe, and then should a Rwandan, what do you call them, detainee? I don't know, someone exported to Rwanda, probably against their will, commit a crime, they'll be shipped straight back here, probably on an expensive flight.
On the specific point that Oliver made about somebody committing a crime and being sent back here, it would seem to me that actually provides an incentive for them to commit crimes in Rwanda, because presumably these people would prefer to be in this country rather than Rwanda. So that has got obvious flaws there. The second thing is that the Supreme Court judgment wasn't just about the possibility that people would be sent back to the countries they came from, but it was also involved stuff that you can't really legislate for. I mean, they were unhappy about the culture in Rwanda, which in their view didn't seem to take the refugees and asylum seekers from the Middle East and Afghanistan seriously. Well, how do you legislate for that in a treaty or legislation either in Rwanda or in this country?
So I'm not sure. When you say didn't take them seriously, what do you mean? Didn't take them seriously so they might do what to them when they were there, or they might not do what?
Well, they may not treat them with the respect and the procedures and everything that would be the Supreme Court would expect, certainly, of refugees in this country, and indeed refugees from other countries in Rwanda. In other words, they were arguing there was discrimination against certain groups in Rwanda. Now, as I say, you can't just sort of deal with that in a treaty or indeed in an act in the Rwandan Parliament or the British Parliament. So, it may well be that this gets knocked back by the Supreme Court in this country again.
Oliver, you've been following every syllable uttered. Is it clear to you what is supposed to happen to a migrant who is put on a plane to Rwanda at the other end? Obviously, he or she disembarks and is taken to some accommodation, but they're not in prison because it's not meant to be a prison. So what are they meant to do next? What are they meant to do for the rest of their lives?
So I think for some people in this country, they think that what's going to happen is that asylum seekers are put on the plane to Rwanda. If their application is successful, they're brought back to the UK. That's not how this works.
Right.
They're sent to Rwanda. They are then given a decision by the Rwandan authorities, and that is they're either given refugee status or they're given permanent residence for Rwanda. That's a one-way ticket that they're being given to go to Rwanda. Now, we've heard from Home Office officials today that there will be a new appeals process put forward. There will be experts, there will be judges from not only Rwanda, but from other Commonwealth countries. But there is still a possibility that if an asylum seeker has lodged a judicial review in the UK, that judges in London could then order the Home Office to bring them back here because of a procedural irregularity. But there's still, as I said, there's still so many questions for us to go through. We haven't seen what's in the text of the treaty. The Home Office says it will be published this afternoon. And then, of course, we're expecting emergency legislation to be tried to be rushed through Parliament because the government wants to try and get this sorted to deem Rwanda a safe country so that it tries to circumvent what has gone on in the courts. But, you know, there's still a lot of questions around how will MPs react? What's going to be the reaction in the wider political circuit? And then you've got to look at what's happened previously with Australia. They had a very similar deal to what we've done here with Nauru and with Manus in Papua New Guinea. The asylum seekers over there, they went on hunger strike. The headlines that it created, it's not that we're going to send people over to Rwanda and this is all going to be plain sailing. If anything, what we've seen in the past year and a half of this programme has taught us is it's fraught with difficulty.